The changing meaning of diversity at RCVS. In this video, we are going to explore the change of meaning for this noun, as used by the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. The first recorded instance at RCVS appeared in the 2006 survey of the profession, where it was used to refer to the variety of careers within the profession. By 2008, a DVD and brochures were being produced to demonstrate that vets come from all walks of life, a socioeconomic diversity. In February 2015, Vet Futures created an ambition for the noun, without being specific as to meaning, followed in April by reference to racial and national characteristics. By July 2016, Vet Futures was broadening their definition of diversity to include gender, race, and socioeconomic dimensions, whilst lauding the Vet Futures Group for the diversity of career paths represented there. At this time, diversity had two threads: firstly, the admirable diversity of careers within the profession, and secondly, the lamentable lack of diversity of identity groupings, a new and political analysis. The previous year's theme of lack of diversity of nationality disappeared at this time, as the number of EU graduates increased. In July 2017, a year on, RCVS recruited Stonewall to provide consultancy for their diversity policies, congruent with their 2017 strategic plan. In April 2018, RCVS held an event called Vets Stay, Go, Diversify, which created a confusion of meaning by linking diversity to leadership, innovation, and mental health, without making it clear how diversity, as RCVS has previously used the term, could be linked to these themes. And in July, the president, Amanda, changed the theme again away from diversity in recruitment to the profession to one of indictment of the profession for lack of opportunity and support, identifying victim groupings, and thereby linking diversity to discrimination through lack of inclusion. This was the moment of introduction of identity politics, and the first shaming of the profession for lack of diversity, from the president herself. In January 2019, she went further, accusing the profession of racism and identifying her, quote, experience as a white woman, close quote. Identity politics, grievance politics, and critical social justice theory were now in play at RCVS. By July 2019, the new president Niall linked the lack of diversity along racial and gender dimensions to a lack of understanding of anecdote, the lived experience, and called for the identification and shaming of those who did not agree. At RCVS, diversity had now become a metaphor for lack of inclusion and discrimination. In September 2019, the president gave away his politics when he was clear in an article he wrote in a veterinary magazine, identifying himself as a white man with white privilege, and one who, as president, was expecting the rest of the profession to check their own racialized privilege. This was political grandstanding, and a declaration of ambition and intent. He followed this up in January 2020, with a recommendation for mandatory diversity training for RCVS staff and even council members. By February 2020, he had created a moral high ground, platformed by RCVS, from which to preach a perspective which accorded with his political views, invoking a moral case for diversity, and linking this to equity of outcome, rather than competence, or equality of opportunity. His polemic even reached the grandiosity of the imperative of addressing systemic failings in society in general. In his words, a significant shift, such as increasing diversity within a profession, does not just happen naturally and without intervention. He was on a roll and building that moral high ground. But then, by chance, we got the unexpected, a natural intervention. We got the coronavirus pandemic, and the name group, which is made up of Niall, Amanda, Mandissa and Elizabeth, had to put their politics on hold. Now, it's a valid and reasonable question to ask why our profession should care about this, since diversity is a good thing, a fair thing, and it's the right thing to do, and no one really doubts that any audience would be persuaded otherwise. Diversity, in itself, is not really the issue highlighted here. It is the way it is being used as a proxy for the application of identity politics by a small group of authoritarian activists, none of whom proclaimed their political aims and ambitions honestly when they were employed by or elected to the RCVS. Not just their Royal College. We will be picking up with the post-COVID politics of RCVS in another installment in this video compilation. As usual, if you wish to know more, please follow this series of short explainer videos and don't forget to comment. See you next time.